Going live now.
Going live right now.
We are live. We can't sing either. Um, Welcome to another exciting edition of Star Trek Discovery commentary with quote fans unquote. Well, I know you are, and I am kind of too.
Well, we're fans of Star Trek.
Yeah, that thing. That thing.
We're fans
Yeah.
of Star Trek, so like even if we're not fans of a specific Star Trek show, we can talk about it because that's what fans of Star Trek do.
Well, today's episode is season 2, episode 1, Brother. And this is the introduction to Anson Mount as Captain Christopher Pike.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this so much.
Okay, cue up your copies, folks.
All
We're
right.
going to start from the previously on.
Ooh, cool. Two peeps are watching.
Uh,
All right, I'm sign. Oh, I'm one of those. Let me sign off of my. I forgot I opened that window to tweet. But Blue is here. Yay! Hi.
Hello, Blue.
Hey, Blue. Hey, Blue. Don't make
Blue, oh, so lonesome for
it.
you.
Oh,
What's that? Who sang that song? Leanna Rhymes, is it?
I don't even know that song. That's the first time I heard
It goes blue, oh so lonesome for you. Why can't you be blue over me?
it. I only know Blue
my-
Moon.
Oh my
what,
god,
just
you're
something
so
falling?
uncultured.
I know.
How can you not know 90s country music?
I know 90s country music, just not everything. Mostly 80s country music I think I know really well.
I'm having daydreams about night things. Let's stop all this shenanigans and just end the stream right here. We're done. We're done.
The Geek in Review is here. Hey guys. All right. Should we? Are you doing 3,
Hey,
2,
that's
1,
that
go?
Scottish dude, isn't it?
That's a Scottish dude. I can't
Oh
do
my
it.
God,
It's such a bad Scottish accent.
It sounded like you trying to do Willie from The Simpsons.
Get in my belly. That's what everyone does. Unfortunately, is Fat Bastard. That Mike Myers accent is the one that I can do because it sounds funny.
He also does that accent in So I Married an Axe Murderer. He plays his own father.
That's right.
And he keeps telling the kid that he has a big head. He keeps telling his younger son, he's like, "Look at the size of his head."
I remember. Oh yeah, that's such a good movie. I haven't thought of that movie in such a
That's
long time.
an underrated. Anyway,
Yeah. All right, we're not here
let's
for
do,
that.
let's do the countdown.
Season 2, Episode 1, Star Trek Discovery, Brother. Ready, PJ, when you are.
3, 2, 1, go.
Going.
Last season on Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, I'm a little... It delayed. All right, I'm going to... You pause real quick.
Yeah.
All right, go. Stand down. Captain, incoming. Warp signatures detected. Duke! By the way, we're at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 for the audience. PJ, are you lined up?
Hold on. Let me say something that they're saying. Imprisonment for life.
That happened already for me. So I'll pause.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, sorry, I hear you.
Fuck.
That's
how you beat the clean. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there we go.
okay.
We're good.
Ah!
Exactly. Yeah. There we go.
One governed by the Terran Empire. Don't you bow for your emperor? Oh my gosh, this is like
he just got stabbed.
I remember saying that you don't have to watch season 1.
They replay that special
The
sound.
thing that you hate.
It's like I just want to blow my brains out, man.
To prove who we are.
So glad I don't own a gun. No, I'm kidding. Or am I?
You're out in the country. You should have a gun for hunting.
I live in a city, dude.
Oh, that's a city? Just kidding. I'm teasing. I know.
Yeah, we're all living in igloos here in Canada.
Clapping.
acting captain.
Yeah, we're
Please
lined
take
up.
your seat.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I'm glad we get to do this part again.
Uh, hails from Captain Blake's. It's the USS Enterprise. Oh my goodness. Dun, 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 dun.
That sounds badass, I have to say. And the bizarre collectors look pretty badass too. I don't know how I feel about the pylon configuration, but everything else is all right. Oh, I like this. I remember liking this little Cassini thing, the art film at the beginning.
Here's where Burnham's breathy.
Mm-hmm. I think this
breathy
footage, that's so pretty, by the way.
monologue
I think this footage
starts
was
in every episode.
timely. Does she? She monologues in every episode. That's funny.
I don't find meaning in almost anything that she says in the voiceovers. It's all really just fluff. Like, you know, the story
Yeah,
about
but
the
this-
African tribe. I'm like,
This connected nicely to that short track, remember?
it would be nice if it connected to something within the scene. I don't know.
Oh shit, we didn't
I
do
don't know.
short treks in between.
Oh, fuck short treks.
Okay, cool.
Okay. They were just a marketing gimmick.
There were more than that to me, but okay, fine.
They were more than that to many people. Unfortunately, I was not one of them. I'll rank them. I think some are decent, but you know.
That weird intro is weirder when you think they never mention or follow it up. It tripped me out how Vulcan is depicted like in this, but then it matches up
it's
with
so frustrating.
what happened.
Okay, Mana and Sarek are having a conversation that doesn't make any sense. She's like, "What happened to her parents?" Like, so Sarek has made the decision to adopt this girl, and fucking Amanda's only asking now, like, what happened? What was the backstory? Like, I don't understand how they don't see that as just like not right.
I didn't follow that. I missed all that. Damn it. To me, it made sense because he found her in the.
It was exposition. It was simply for the audience's benefit, and it made no narrative sense. It's just so that Sarah could say we're raising her, blah blah blah, and Amanda could say, so what happened? And it's like, no, it's just like the same thing with season 1, where Burnham's literally explaining the details of a mission that they are currently in the middle of, and Giorgio should be like, Michael, I know. I know all these details.
Oh, I gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's like they're saying it just so we can hear it, even though it doesn't make sense for Amanda to be asking Burnham's circumstances after Sarek is apparently now I say, has made the decision to take her in. You know, it's weird. I don't know. It's an early nitpick.
I like this part.
It's a nice room.
Spock is cool, kid Spock, and I like.
He's like
the actress.
he's like young Sheldon.
Yeah, he is like young Sheldon. I like the actress they got to pick. That they picked for young Burnham to Geek and Review.
Listen to this line when he says "friends." I expect you to be friends. Friends.
But did you hear it sounded different? Like if it was dubbed or something, it was an ADR and the other part wasn't or something. It was weird.
It stands out as weird to me because the way he says "friends," it's like the inflection that he uses.
Yeah.
I expect you to be friends. I don't know how I feel about this flashy bullcrap.
The dragon thing. Yeah, it's not it's
It's like
neither here nor there.
I like how he shuts the door in her face. I think they could have totally eliminated that whole like CG drawing stuff because it's only visual flair that I can understand. Like you could
It
have a
connects later because remember they connected to like Spock making drawings
oh
of the
yes.
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, at least it serves a purpose somewhat, I guess.
This is such a
I'm
good
gonna
scene. I love.
nitpick the hell out of this season.
Me too. I'm gonna try.
Actually, no, I'm gonna complain right up until the point when we see Pike, and I'm gonna be like, it's all good.
I love him. I like how Tilly's more confident in this season.
Yeah.
So this is the weird thing about. I guess that something knocked out the system, so they must have been on impulse power, or I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. They never do explain what happened to them.
But she is under repair for like the most of the season.
And people have told me they do explain it. I'm like, no, they don't. And then they always say, well, there's that line when he's talking to number one and somewhere down the line where he says, oh, I shouldn't have trusted those holograms or something. And it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, look how pretty, Louie! Look how pretty! Look at how pretty she is.
Something having to do with the holograms.
I just want you to
Fucked
notice.
up their ship. They never explain it. Do they explain it? No, they don't.
I don't know. We'll find out now.
They don't care to explain it
I think they
because
do.
they don't think the audience cares because they don't fucking care.
At least for me, I don't know. Maybe that's not true for you, but for me, I miss a lot of shit on my initial viewings, and I don't usually go back and watch it twice or three times. So I've learned just from Twitter that like I miss a lot of stuff. So I know they sneak in a lot of dense dialogue about this and that, and they'll like put it in a weird place where you didn't think it would be. So we'll see. We'll search for the answers as we do this rewatch. But Geek says now you have to say this episode is better than I remember. I remember being super hype about this. I think I gave it a 10. Like, if I'm not mistaken, on my review, on my discussion about it.
The latter half of the episode has some pretty decent CGI. Like there's a scene where Burnham's running from a collapsing thing, and it looks like it really does look real, and it's one of the things they showed in the trailer for it that got me hype. I'm like, oh, this show it actually looks visually better than season 1, and it does. Yeah, the effects are just generally better. Let's see if the first effect shot holds up. Oh, see, that's not a bad effect shot.
I know. I love any.
If that
shot
was
with
season 1,
it
would look a little more glowy and hazy.
Yeah.
But this actually looks like it's right outside.
And the music's so good. This dun 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 dun.
I like the way Doug Jones walks. Is surreal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Geordi.
Yeah, like a proto thingy of Geordi, a visor. Maybe, or he uses it to do something. Like scanning or something. Oh yeah, I guess it is a visor, actually. It is cool looking.
Actually, to be honest, to me it looks kind of tacky. But then again, I don't know what it is really.
I don't like the thing on top. I just like the visor part.
Do you notice how they purposely showed the guy's ear to show you that it wasn't going to be Spock?
Mm-hmm. I love this. I love every moment. Mojave.
Anson Mount is fully gray now. I wonder if they're going to keep that.
I hope they do. We received no notice from Starfleet.
Now, they set this dude up, Connor, I think his name is.
Connor, yeah.
Yeah.
Connors or something like that, yeah.
Or Connolly?
Connolly, yeah.
Connolly. They set him up as some douchebag who deserves to die later, right? And they clearly do. But I didn't
That's not
quite
what.
I
That's
didn't
not what
quite
they set him up as a douchebag, and they're saying that douchebags like him deserve to die.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, you said they set him up to be a douchebag that dies later. We don't know he's gonna die, but they're saying like,
Oh no,
you
in
know what I mean? Like,
retrospect
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
"Oh, I see the whole build up to it."
right,
Like when
right.
you go back and watch it now, it's like he's being a little prickly at first, and then Burnham's kind of being a bitch by fucking saying like, "Oh, it's a simile," and then Pike is being a little bit of a cunt to his officer, who he doesn't really seem to have all that much respect for, by like saying like so many metaphors died or so. He's like, and look, all this guy is saying now is like, we tried and this, and listen. See, he's like being a jerk to Connolly already, and Connolly hasn't even done anything. But then they have to like make up for it by making him a cunt. Pardon my language.
See, this explains it to me a little bit. Like, he's already fond of Burnham because of Spock, and he definitely likes Spock more than Connolly. And it sounds like when Spock went away to his, psycho leave, Connolly took over his position, and maybe Pike is having a little trouble with him because,
And
and so I see that explained right away
and
there.
this right here. Why does Linus choose to sneeze on him? He doesn't know anything about Connolly.
I feel instinctually
Yeah,
because
see,
he's a lizard
that's
person.
that's not that doesn't cut it.
He can sense the bad
No.
juju.
Yeah, he can see.
He's a fucking lizard person. I hate this. This I hate. This I will not argue with. I hate
the
hate
roller coaster.
the roller coaster. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. I thought the Linus
See?
gag was funny,
See?
but I remember a lot of
Hold on,
people
hold-
not liking it.
Oh,
Go ahead.
fuck, never mind.
Sorry, what was it? What was it?
Never mind. I can't hear it. It's gone. It's done.
Mhm.
I was trying to see what Connolly said that would make Linus fucking sneeze on him. But I don't think it's anything that bad though. Like I don't think it's like it's a very, it feels like a forced joke. It feels like they saw the elevator scene in the Orville and they said, "We have to do something like that. We don't care how much sense it makes."
It does feel that way, but I'll take it because I thought it was funny.
I don't like the way they're treating fellow officers, and I don't like the fact that they created this Connolly character, who really shows his full true colors right before he dies by being like, he's full of fucking hubris and just
I like
he's
the character.
talking down to everybody else, and it's like, wow, it's like, how did this guy make it so far? It's a wonder how some of the characters they create make it as far as they do, either being the douchebags that they are or extremely emotionally fragile.
You could
people.
tell you're like me. You could tell you're like super into Next Generation. But now that I've been watching TOS, like there's so many assholes and people that you're like, how the fuck did you get into this position? There's none of that, and there. This is very specifically. I think that's very appropriate for this era, to be honest. Is that there would be a lot of weird ass people, but TNG kind of homogenized that and made everyone super professional, and that's what I think. And so did DS9, and so did Voyager. And since I think it shows how steeped in that version of Star Trek you are,
Yeah.
to have those expectations.
Like, what's that? The Picard.
I love this scene, by the way.
The Picard short with the two girls, one girl's bullying the other.
Yes.
I despise that. I would love to imagine that at some point in fucking humanity, even if we do integrate with other humanoid species or whatever, that we would get to a point where all these little like 20th and 21st century hang-ups that people have, like school bullying and like racism and sexism and all this stuff, and gender bias and whatnot, that at some point that would be like long in the past, just like we look back at behavior 500 years ago and say, well, Jesus, we would never act in that way. We would never enjoy watching someone get flogged in public, you know what I mean? Or skinned alive or whatever, what they used to fucking do back in the fucked up days. But like, I always imagine, like, that's the great thing about TNG and DS9 is that people still got mad and had arguments and there was still conflict. It's just generally people were just way fucking more mature about pretty much anything.
Right.
And yes, if they had problems they had to work out, they always realized at the end, like there was always like that element of common sense. And you know what? The Connolly is just like that red shirt from 2009's Star Trek. When that red shirt showed up with the guys who were going to do with the jump thing, and you know he's going to die, right?
Yeah, but
Right
he
away.
reminds me. That guy was a douche for sure. He
Well, that's
reminds
what.
me more. He reminds me of that guy also, but he also reminds me not more of. He reminds me of that guy for sure, but he also reminds me of Mr. Adventure from Star Trek 3. Oh, I love this. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Mr. Adventure was cool. Like he seemed
No,
like
he
a.
was he was a douche too. Are you kidding?
Oh no, he was just a little eccentric, I think.
What are you kidding me? Look at you, Lieutenant. Why your career's winding down. My, you know?
And look at how TNG did handle prickly characters like Ro Laren. Ro Laren was a bit of a fucking asshole, right? You know what I mean? Like straight up, the first episode she's in, she's pissing Riker off big time, and you're like, hey, that's not cool. But for some reason, they don't. You she doesn't seem phony. You know what I mean? It seems like, given her backstory and like where she's from and what she's been through, and her alliances, uh, even when she goes back to the Maquis, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I don't need. She is technically being a bad guy, or being like prickly or an asshole or whatever. But you don't feel that against her. But like I hate characters they set
Yeah.
up to. We're gonna set this character up to be so fucking prejudiced and annoying that you're gonna kind of cheer when they get killed, which I don't like at all. Anyway, Trek on the Tubes here.
Oh, hey,
Hello.
Sean, what's up? Let me give a timestamp for anyone who's trying to sync up. We are 18 minutes and 51, 52, 53, 54, 55 seconds into season 2, episode 1. This is funny. Tilly with her newfound powers. Her drunk on
She
power.
she's ba da ba ba loving it. Was this where he reveals he's going to be
He's
teaching on
leaving.
Vulcan?
Yeah.
Remember, they were supposed to get a Vulcan captain.
Well, we don't know if it was
Well,
gonna be the
somebody on Vulcan, yeah.
Yeah, someone on Vulcan. But it would have been amazing to actually have a Vulcan captain. Or I was speculating that it would be Prime Lorca.
I've always wanted to see a Vulcan in Star Trek who was fully Vulcan, but kind of embraces humanity a bit.
Like to
is
Paul?
it? No. Is more like is stoic. Well, what they did with T'Pol is horrible. Like they devolved her into like an emotional wreck.
Yeah, it's true.
But like I'm talking about like almost like a Sarek type who's very serious, but then like you always find out like, oh, he likes 21st century rock music or something, or like he likes baseball, or you know what I mean, like the Vulcans in DS9.
The show is shot so much more beautifully this season in terms of like, look how crisp everything is. The lighting's really good. It's brighter, like you said. There's less contrast. It looks more natural. It's very nice.
Yes, and I'll give Alex Kurtzman this. He doesn't go crazy like Jonathan Frakes. He doesn't go crazy with the lens flare. Now there is lens flare in this episode, but it's well used. They have some episodes in this season from some of the not so regular directors where they have loads of atmosphere on the ship that makes no sense. For example, like you'll see in hallways are very smoky, so the light will hit the the room a certain way or something, and it's like that don't seem right. And there's also this lens flare that they're always doing off camera that's like moving around, and you're always like, where's that coming from, and why is it doing that, and why is it shining over this person's face and like running up and down this person's face while they're talking? I can't hear a goddamn word they're saying because all I see is like flashy lights and all this stuff. Like the way this is right here, this is all very like the crossfades and stuff. This is all very nice.
Mm-hmm. I like how the Alice in Wonderland thing, which they started to play with in season one, continued into season two and came to a kind of a resolution in that Amanda used it to help Spock get over his I guess Vulcan dyslexia is the best way. I forget they name it. I forget what it's called, but it's like a form of it's like a learning difference, and so he has to learn how to adapt. He has to figure out how to adapt and learn, the same things in his own way, and this book helps him.
Old habits
Sarek's
die
like,
hard.
I wish that bitch wife of mine never showed these children this awful book that makes no sense. They should use it to short out robots.
I don't think he's thinking that his wife is a bitch.
He is. He's so mad at her because of everything she does in this season.
That's an emotional response.
It's inside. Remember, he has that crazy Vulcan thing later on.
She is
His
merely,
mind meld with Burnham actually killed him
she's,
later in TNG
she is
and made him
not the,
crazy.
She is not a bitch. She is merely human.
I was just trying to be like a gangster rapper when I used the word bitch. I didn't mean it like in a bad way.
Well, I try to use the different words like on both sexes. So
I use bitch for men too. So yeah.
I call dudes the C word a lot. Like like Bill the Butcher from The Boys. You watched The Boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is so funny that they held back the Spock thing for so long. It was driving me insane, but now I'm okay with it because I already know what happens. But
that's another thing that annoyed me is the tease that it might be Spock in like 2 or 3 episodes they do it. Actually, well, they do it in here where you see the guy beam over and you expect it to be Spock and you see the air. And then there's another time when it's like, oh, is it Spock? No, it's Amanda. And then another time it's, is it Spock? No, it's Giorgio. They do that a few times in this season.
Crumpet. Yes, that's what we were talking about, the C word, crumpet. If you change the crumpet to strumpet, it's a mean thing to say, apparently, in England. I remember this being a nice moment where Sarek actually kind of revealed he's a bad parent.
Oh yeah, and then there's the mystery of what she did or said to him, which
Right.
when you see it, it's like, oh, that was it. The problem. I don't mean to.
That's a big deal to a kid.
It's like
a
they
little kid,
build
though.
up things, and then the payoff is like, okay, we had to wait so long for that.
I thought that was a big deal because I remember yelling at my little sister, my kid sister, when we were kids, and I was like, "I don't want you hanging out with me and my friends. I hate it when that kind of stuff."
I'm not disagreeing with the fact that she said something mean to him and hurt his feelings.
No, but what I was going to
But
follow up and say is
the way
into adulthood that affected her, and we had to work it out at some point. So I could see how it could like be a big deal later.
I'm still mad at my grandmother for something she said to me in 1997.
Oh wow, okay. See,
I'll never fucking forgive that bitch. But anyway,
now everyone's going to want to know. But you can tell me later.
I could do a whole book of awful, terrible
wait,
things that relatives say to a child that should never be said to a child. Yes.
This is a good scene. Evan Colony. Kayla, we get all their names.
See,
finally.
Owishikin. She says it like I say it. I like that, Saru, and he's doing that thing with his hands. Man, he looks so good in that chair, man. He just looks like he belongs there, even though it's not a ship. I think they're getting rid of those stupid collars for Strange New Worlds. And they're probably going to soften the shoulders a bit. Because the shoulders are too pointy. They really are. Not for TOS uniforms, it doesn't work. It's like they took the TOS relaxed kind of look. By the way, when I watched iMud today, is it iMud?
Yeah, I'm
Those fucking uniforms, dude, hold up. Like you could
yeah.
you change the background, update the background of the
You could
characters a
just
little
have
bit,
those uniforms. It's
and you
true.
could have those uniforms that could totally work.
Yeah. Just make the hems a little different. You know, like change the hem, but you don't need to like do dramatic differences. I will say just changing the disco uniforms to like the colors of the TOS uniforms made a huge difference to me. Like I felt like better about them
What for season 4?
for season 2. This like seeing like Connolly in blue and him in yellow and
Oh
Non in
yeah,
red, like that made a huge difference. Like I was like, I don't know if I like the disco uniforms, but like the colors pop and it kind of reminds me of the TOS uniforms, so I
yeah.
like it. Um, Trek on the Tube says the irony of I love this little photo, so good, and the sound design's great. Oh, and this crazy the effects are, I don't know how good your copy is, but the effects are pretty badass
The
in
effects
season
are
2.
outstanding.
Yeah.
I love them.
I can't take my eyes off of this scene. Actually, I'm like
I
super
love them all.
compelled by it.
Kill them.
I just went full
Kill
screen.
them all.
By the way, Toddy has some interesting comments.
Okay.
The Hiawatha's a cool ship.
The irony of Disco season 1 and season 2 is that most of what they did right story-wise are the things that connect to TOS and TOS characters. All of the entirely new stuff is weak. Well, see, that's the thing. They said they were never going to rely on Spock and...
I think
You
those
know,
were the showrunners that got fired or whatever. Or
oh, yeah, Gretchen Berg and Aaron Harper.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well,
Yeah.
who knows, but you knew that wasn't going to last. I mean, they say a lot of things. Like, what did they say about every season of Discovery? This is the one that's more like TOS. I was like, what? No, you're going to the future in the third season, so what are you talking about? No, it's going to be more optimistic. Every season's going to be they've been promising every season basically what they're now promising Strange New Worlds will be. So if Strange New Worlds is another just carbon copy of the Discovery format or the Picard format, it's not going to stand on its own. It's going to feel too much like season 2 of Discovery. He
just
loses his
yelled at
temper.
Burnham, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't sit out the war with my crew just to stand down now.
And I like this because she's like, if you'd let me finish,
Yeah.
man, thing with penis.
That's not. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you choke on your own spit there.
On my wine, actually.
Oh, your
Sorry.
your fine wine.
My fine wine.
Your Chateau Bicard.
But see, look how great. He's like, all right, let's do this. Listen to that music. It's so good. Bunka dunka bunka bunka dunk.
If I were Pike, I'd be like, I didn't know you were gonna say anything, Burnham. Leave me alone. See, like, why you gotta give him lines like, "What, Burnham"? It's like it's like they're just spray painting a character douche, the color of douche.
I really like the fact that he's a douche because you need. I think
I think
I like
there's ways
well, I
to
was
do
gonna
it
say-
that aren't so obvious from a writing perspective.
No, I think it's
feels
great.
it feels like a phony, fake, forced character.
I know so many fuckboys like that, and I think it's great that like a character.
Fuckboys.
It's true. That's what he is, and I think it's so great that a character like that is a discussion point because I think they need to be like. Why shouldn't a character like that be in Star Trek? I think they need. You know what I'm saying?
There definitely could be a character.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the execution and the writing of the character.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I disagree.
Fake, phony, and forced. And yes, you disagree. We have a disagreement on that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, setting him up so obviously in that way also does this thing because you're expected to think that Nan will die because she's the red shirt, right? I don't know if they meant that, but I was thinking that at
That's
first.
what
Like,
I was thinking too.
okay,
Yeah.
are they gonna like arbitrarily kill her off because she's just wearing red, like to keep in line with the trope? But then when they started doing this thing with Connolly, where he's like he's becoming more apparently douchier as the episode goes on. I was
I
like,
had no idea he was
I
gonna
think I
die.
think they're flipping it. They're gonna make you. I think they're trying to make you think Non might, but then like they're making it so obvious that he's like, okay, for example, right about 5 seconds before he dies, the first time I watched this, as soon as it, like even right here where he's laughing, I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna be the one that gets fucked up here, because
It's
I just want to finish, because in the trailer when they land on the rock, you don't see him at all. You only see Non, and so I remembered that too because back when the trailers first came out, like we were trying to figure out like what would happen. I actually wrote a thing where I did a synopsis of the first episode of season 2 without seeing it, judging only by the trailers of what I thought was in the first episode, and I was like fucking 90% right. But I didn't know much about Conley. I just remembered the fact that it was just Burnham, Pike, and Non in the later scenes. I'm like, well, he's definitely gonna die.
this scene is like, to me it's awesome. I mean, I think I heard some people critiquing the effects, but I don't know. It looks pretty badass to me. Um, Saru detects that Connolly's gonna die.
Some comments back here. Let's see.
Oh,
I really like the actress who played the young Michael. Geek in
yeah,
Review
she's great.
says. Geek says Non was a wasted opportunity. She could have done so much.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I like her character. I wish there was more with her. I hope they bring her back somehow.
He says, totally agree, PJ. Would love to see Vulcan who actually tries to experience other cultures. And Trek on the
See,
Tube said, I agree. I want to see a full Vulcan physically, but culturally Klingon, or an Andorian completely culturally Ferengi, etc. And that could be interesting. Sir, I know better. Like, Burnham is a stupid fucking idiot.
well,
And
Connolly's also
don't ever
not
question
listening.
my calculations. And I'm not certainly about to get hit by a rock and die now because it's such a fucking forced narrative that, like, you're supposed to laugh at a Starfleet officer's death because this is what New Trek is. And also, another thing. Here's another thing. Why the fuck would you have these pods that are made of this glass that can obviously be punctured at any single time? I don't get it. I just don't understand the narrative decision to have. It's literally only there to have.
I can't explain anything to you because you're like pounding it on, like you're piling a list of 10 things, but I can't. I have
Here's
all
another
explanations
thing.
for everything
Why
you
is there
said.
so much CG in the scene? Why is so many rocks? Does it have to be all of those rocks? Like, seriously. And what's with the
Keep
displays?
piling it. I have
There's way
explanations
too-
for everything.
There's way too
Keep
much.
on piling it.
And why can't his helmet come down? I mean, how convenient. Oh, his helmet
Pile the
doesn't go
nitpicks.
down.
I got
His helmet
explanations.
doesn't go down just at the right time. I'm channeling a bit of Ruben here now. Anyway, were you going to say something?
Nothing. I was just gonna say it's interesting. I have no problem with any of this. I actually thought this was so exciting. Like I was like my and right now even my adrenaline's up. Like I feel like this is an amazing scene. And as for Connolly, I will admit that last part just before he dies, like the problem with the character is that I don't think any Starfleet officer would disobey the captain. Like I could understand the rivalry with Burnham, but like when your captain tells you like that's an order and he's still disagreeing, that is kind of unbelievable for a Starfleet officer.
Yes, exactly. That's an odor. Oh,
Yeah,
sir,
I
I showered today, sir. What are you talking about?
Right? Like, you know what I mean? He's like, Connolly, that's an order. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, he got killed. So I just think he's a stupid character. He's like an idiot. Like a person who is an idiot, a literal idiot is being is died from his idiocy, and it's not funny. No
He
one's
should
laughing at it,
he
but
should
it
have been.
feels a little
Oh,
satisfying that
it's
idiots are dying because idiots should die. Just kidding. Idiots should be allowed to live with all of us. By the way, we were
Here's my impression of Kurtzman's directing for this episode.
throw everything at the
More
camera.
Star Wars. More Star Wars. No, not enough Star Wars.
Star Wars
More.
Star Wars wouldn't do this kind of spacesuit stuff though. They never
I
do
know.
spacesuits, right?
I know. Yeah, they don't. This is more. This is more influenced by JJ
Yeah.
than anything else. And like the almost landing on the pointy rocks. I mean, come on. That was a little like a cartoon just then.
It's way better than season 1 though, I will say. Like even the worst effects in season 2 felt to me like they were better than season 1's effects.
Season
this
2
was a nice
feels
moment.
more generally pulp, and it's nothing makes sense at the end, but it's still kind of a fun journey. Like this, like what you're saying, like the action scene just then. I mean, it's fun to watch. I just don't believe it for a second. But that shot's pretty cool where they're walking along the thing.
I mean, I don't believe
They're-
anything in Star Trek for a second.
No, I mean, I'm
Just
talking. I'm
kidding. No,
talking
I'm
about
just kidding.
sense of belief or verisimilitude.
Suspensions, yeah.
For example, when they go in here and this is like an actual factory that they filmed in with CG augmentation and whatnot.
yeah, like
When
that.
everything starts falling apart, which is like a lot of fucking CG, some of that looks like super photorealistic. So I mean, it's good and bad. Like this shot here looks phony, and then later shots look better. Like that's a factor. That's a real place and you can't tell where the augmentation is. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
There might not be any at all. I don't know.
Now they'll do all this with AR wall probably, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, that'll be great. What's good about the AR wall is that they have to have the visual effects done pre-filming as opposed to post, and it's a completely different dynamic. It's like the actors are experiencing the visual effect that they have to work with.
Right. And the other thing is lighting is excellent because things that light sources reflect naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's always that uncanny valley and green screen where the lighting isn't quite matching.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And they sometimes digitally alter it to match, and it doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm. I did like these little robot things.
The kids.
The kids, right? The kids. Tig Notaro's great.
She's so dry.
Yeah.
Do you know she's in Army of the Dead?
Yeah, I heard.
She never filmed any scenes with anyone in the movie.
What?
Isn't that funny?
That's hilarious. Like,
There's an actor who got Me Too'd or canceled, and they had to digitally take him completely out of the movie.
do you know which actor? Do you know who it was?
Chris Delilah or Chris. He was in that. He was in that Whitney
Cummings.
Cummings show. He's like that scruffy looking comedian dude. Hold on, I'll see if I can. Chris D'Elia.
I don't think I know him.
You'll know him to see him. They even
Connolly
have an
didn't
article.
even get a
The
funeral
Daunting Way
scene.
Army of the Dead replaced Chris D'Elia with Tig Notaro. I want to see how that works because apparently anybody who didn't know she was digitally inserted wouldn't have
Can't
known.
tell.
Like they can't tell, or it doesn't look obvious.
Wow. I wish
So,
you hadn't
like-
told me and then told me later.
She's
No, I'm just
literally in scenes with people where she filmed it alone, right? well, somebody's feeding her lines, obviously, but she's saying the lines that Chris said in the movie, and so that the actors who were already filming with Chris can respond to Tig in the same way, right? So she had to mimic his performance in a way, I guess.
That's weird. I love this character so much, Jet Reno.
It's unfortunate that they didn't really do anything with her past this episode. There's a couple of things that they do with her.
We find out why from the she was on was it the official Star Trek podcast, and she actually didn't she actually they wanted more of her, but she actually declined. She like doesn't like acting, and she was just kind of doing it for fun.
She's not the most natural actor.
Right.
And I've seen her in other things. I'm not just judging by this. And there's a show that she had for a couple of seasons where she basically plays herself, and that feels like the most natural. But when Tig Notaro admitted, like, this kind of dialogue that she has to spout out here, even just the slightest techno babble, is just like
It's hard for
she
her. Yeah.
she literally doesn't get it. You know what I mean?
I have to say she nails it. I love this character. I wanted more. The whole time we were watching as the season was airing, I kept saying, "Where's Jet Reno? We want Jet Reno." Like there was a lot of demand. So I think she like crushes it. So
I looked at Tig Notaro in this as like it was cool to see somebody whose comedy you would watch for a few years and you really admired. Like she has a stand-up special where she takes off her shirt and she's shirtless a lot of the time to show her double mastectomy, like and it's like this weird, brave kind of strange, odd thing to do, but it's like she's talking so much about her cancer and her battle with cancer, so it makes sense in the context of the show. I don't know if you ever seen that special. That's like her best
no.
one. And she has some very edgy jokes that probably you couldn't even do now.
I think that she's kind of like she works in a weirdly she works similarly to how Whoopi Goldberg was a guest star on TNG. When you actually see how many episodes she's on, and she's not even in the 7th season, it's amazing because you know what I mean. Like you think of this character Guinan that's like such a big part of Star Trek: The Next Generation, but she was hardly ever there. So I feel like Tig Notaro's character Reno is a similar type of character where it's like they're really profound characters. They make a good impression. Tig Notaro is riddled with cancer, sad but true. That could well have put a damper on the enthusiasm for acting. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. She did have cancer. I don't know if she beat it or when she beat it or what. I don't know. I didn't think she had it while she was filming this.
Oh wow.
She did have a pretty tough battle with it though, breast cancer.
I hope she's okay. I love her. So, sending good vibes to Tig Notaro. It's cool that they're reusing sets, but it also makes sense because the Hiawatha would have transport. You know, like that's the cool thing about Star Trek is you could kind of reuse sets from all the ships because they're kind of standardized.
Yeah. Like that set's been used in the Mirrorverse. This thing.
Yeah.
The Shenzhou. This is the last time they used the Shenzhou stuff, I believe, because then directly after this they redo the whole set and turn it into the Section 31 ship. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The this season's just so much better, man. I'm like really having a tough time doing the commentary in some sense because I'm like I'm liking what I'm seeing, like, but I also like doing the commentary.
This is an example of an episode that's good, dumb fun. Like I'm not fully invested in what's going on, but the visual execution of it and the pacing of it is very well done.
And credit to the director.
I just love seeing fucking Pike on a mission with Burnham and the gang, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Seeing
yeah.
Tig for the first time, and like that's all cool, right? Like
Burnham's whole tone changed too. Look how she's like she's like a little peppier in her step. She's less sarcastic. She's less dark. Oof. No. This scene was really cool too, and a lot of people had speculations that it was going to be the Iconians.
you know, Burnham doesn't change all that much throughout the 3 seasons, except when you get into season 3, and she's more relaxed, like just visually,
Yeah.
she's
a little bit mellower. It's true.
But her arc is a little, it's subtle. It's not she's not one of these turnaround characters who's like a
Right.
changed person all of a
This is
sudden.
what you were talking about earlier.
Yes, this is really good stuff here. I love this.
I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of like the factory looking.
I love that shot. Yeah,
innards, but yeah, maybe behind like the facade crashes around it, and maybe that's what it looks like inside. I'm not sure. But what were you gonna say?
No, there was a shot where the camera's like attached to her.
Oh,
That kind of
gotcha.
shot.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's yeah, it looks a
I
bit big for a starship, but you can have those more open spaces in some parts.
I like this scene, and the music in the scene is really pretty too. The da 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 da. You know, oof, that's gotta fucking hurt. I'd freak out. I'd faint if I saw that in my leg. Ooh, and she just screams. She's like, does this like primordial? Yeah, primal. That's what I meant. I said primordial, primal scream.
This is this is where she sees herself. And by the way, a lot of people give a lot of people credit. A lot of people kind of just said that. It's like I bet you it's Burnham,
Oh, really?
and they were fucking right.
I think someone I know guessed that it could be Mama Burnham, but it ended up
I
being
can't
Burnham.
remember. I can't
Oh,
remember.
and I thought it was an Iconian. Because
Yeah.
see how they like make it look like alien a little, like it has like the hero Pike. I
Oh.
what happened?
I can see some people being like, Burnham doesn't need saving. No. But that was cool how like the thing can't be transported. I like that.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting thing where Tilly's all about this rock and the whole thing they do with the rock in the second episode. So it's like actually that weird dense rock is an interesting character in the show.
Mm-hmm.
That they do something actually cool with it
Yeah.
in the next episode.
I remember being really jazzed about like how excited they were about sciencey stuff. Burnham's high on like pain medication right now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Hey guys. Evening greetings. I'm late to the party but started watching the episode. Yay, Braxton. What's up? Toddy's in the room too. Son of a Red Shirt's here, Geek and Review, and so is the Blue Sparrow. So I'll give a timestamp. We're at 49 minutes, 28 seconds, 49 minutes, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. I like Stamets in this episode. He's like sad but still fun.
Yeah.
I hated this thing, but whatever.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
How does it start like a little box and turn into that shit? What compression fields are being utilized and how much energy does it take?
Yeah, really.
I really appreciated this too. Everyone really wants Captain Saru, and we got him for a little while. Oh, that's right. They're trying to capture the asteroid. It was a pretty cool shot. I tell you, look, the Discovery just looks so pretty now.
Yeah.
I think I hated also that they used like a lot of wide angles for the Discovery. She's not attractive with those wider angles. I like her better. Well, I should say
no,
wider
I-
lenses. Wider lenses. I mean, whereas now they're using more like portrait type style lenses, in my opinion. What's that?
I didn't say anything. Baby got back though. um, This is like what?
It's kind of this is the power of math, people. Uh,
Best line ever.
a lot of people didn't mind that line, but they hate the "I like science" thing that Spock says later. That was a cool this fortune cookie. What it says on it, I really like it. It's very relevant to Pike's character and his future and how he ends up. Um,
Is that the first time they mentioned Dr. Pollard, or even were like kind of refer to her as like the chief?
did they just say Chief? I didn't
Uh,
hear them, but yeah,
they do. She is in season 1, right? Yes.
I think so. Yeah,
They
I can't
actually
remember who
they
was in
actually give
season
her
one. They
some
don't
things
name
to do
anyone,
in this
but
season
yeah, she
because
was
of
in season
Culber's
one.
absence.
Yeah, it's true. I really like Dr. Pollard. I need all the smart I can get. I need a new ready room. There's like a tiny ready room and it becomes huge. They like tear down a whole wall for his new ready room.
This whole thing where he comments on like where does anybody sit down? Uh, that's kind of a fad now, like the standing desk
Yeah.
or this, you know.
Not every cage is a prison, nor every loss eternal. Oh, love that. Very nice. Yeah, standing desks are popular. I have one. This shows like what you were talking about earlier a little bit. One of the layers I think is that like Burnham, even though she's showing like caring and like empathy, Spock shows her or reveals to her that she's like actually kind of self-centered and self-serving. That like by taking the burden of like saying it's my fault that Spock is the way he is and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
And I like how Book, when she meets like her true love or whatever, he's just kind of like, yeah, you have a savior complex.
Yeah.
He just tells her straight up what the audience has been kind of saying.
But kind of saying, and I think that's great. That's smart to do that to Burnham. It really, quote unquote, humanizes her. Oh, there she is, the Enterprise being repaired or whatever.
But you have to admit, like or dislike Burnham, there's a coherency that about her character which it allows me at least to believe in her as somebody who's just so ambitious, who wants to be number one, who do wants to be the first to figure it out, like wants to have the best answer to every question, like a know-it-all, but not meaning to be. You know what I mean? Like just trying to because of the fact that she grew up on Vulcan and she had to compete with these emotionless kind of, oh, dare I say, snobby Vulcans who kind of looked at her as an inferior human who wouldn't match the intellect of their society. So to humans, you're like, it's kind of that some of that reaction that humans in Star Trek have to Vulcans, where it's like, oh yeah, you know it all. Like, but then again, in any situation you're in that's dangerous, wouldn't you want someone like Spock or someone like Burnham to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out for you? Because I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I would totally want a Spock or a Burnham by my side. Preferably for me, a Spock, just because I love Spock, but I'd take Burnham as well. This is great. This was like setting the tone for the season. Let's try to have a little fun along the way. Let's see how much fun we have.
That's a nice visual effect shot. That feels like something is out there in the window, like
Mm-hmm.
beyond. It doesn't have that phony feel to it. Now that cut is good. I like that.
Yeah, I
But
like.
really, it's just a redress of Discovery.
Yeah, but I do like the interior of the Enterprise is red, and I think it should be a little bit less gray, but
I
I like
bet
it.
you it will. I'll bet you when Strange New Worlds comes out, there's going to be a lot of retroactive looking at how the Enterprise looked in Discovery, and
Hmm.
it's not going to look the same. I think the shape of the doors and the walls are going to be different. Everything.
Yeah, I hope so.
This is a fairly reasonable
Spock's
recreation
quarters.
of his
Yeah.
quarters.
Yeah, I agree.
But I always imagined the TOS quarters is like a little more cramped. When this is a little, I guess it might be the lenses, but I mean,
They get the little circlets and like the little. There's certain tones of bronze and red and all that stuff. Like it feels very close. It's missing the curtains. You know, Spock has curtains in his like
mm,
hanging. Like, but the red panels, I guess, kind of make up for the curtains because they are red curtains, if I'm not mistaken. So it is a nice mod. I like
isn't
this.
that
I
from
like
a
this.
mock time?
Yeah, isn't it? You're right. The bells, the bell gong thing. There's a 3D chess. Although it's all before Amok time and all that stuff, but yeah, it's the same kind of stuff. That so here's where we get that little like, oh, Spock likes to make 3D drawings.
Okay, that it connects. It connects.
My husband, lumberjack Spock.
I had what my mother called nightmares. Why can't you just say I had nightmares? I had what the humans call
Maybe
dreams.
Vulcans don't dream.
Maybe yeah, exactly.
They
I
might
was
not
thinking
dream.
like they don't have the imagination for it. I would think their dreams would be really intense with
My
all the
father
suppressed
rarely
emotions.
dreams. He freaks out when he has a dream, even if it's not a nightmare, because he never remembers. Everyone dreams, but I guess my father never remembers his dreams.
I some days I remember it vividly, and some days it's like I can't quite recall what I just dreamt. But sometimes it's like, yeah, I can go through that whole dream beat by beat, like it's crazy.
I remember dreams very vividly. Ever since I was a kid, I've always had dreams that I remember, and it happens more than once a week. Like every week, I'll remember 3, 4 dreams. Maybe more. And I was told that anyone who remembers their dreams that vividly, it's because they're not sleeping well, which sucks because I I want to sleep well.
Hmm. Spock, what? No, Spock. No, I'll never lose you again, Spock. I will never lose you again.
Brother, there it is, the title.
She said the title.
I love this season too, Blue. It's really good.
I can't do another.
No, we can't do another tonight, Blue, but maybe
I need
tomorrow.
I need to
Maybe.
sleep. Uh,
Yeah, you don't
yes,
want PJ getting crankier,
at least more than usual.
at least more than usual. Yeah, so we want PJ to get his rest. But that was hecka fun. Yay! I'm so glad we're at season 2. I love season 2 also. Yay! Hopefully you guys will tune in. We don't really have a schedule, right, PJ?
Well, we can do it.
Just watch the
We can
tweets,
do
I
it.
guess.
We can do it 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Yeah, that's good for me because I work the next day. So 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, guys. We'll do what's episode 2 called? New Eden. Oh, it's a great episode.
Yeah, it's one of the.
Yes.
It's that episode where I was like, oh, season two's on the right track, man. It's gonna be good, man. And then episode 3 is like, oh shit, I got my hopes up again, man.
In fact,
Damn
I'm
it,
gonna
damn it.
pre-watch. I'm gonna pre-watch New Eden because I want to really pay attention to it, so that tomorrow when I do the commentary, I can just say whatever the fuck I want.
It's such a Canadian episode. Because I don't know, Americans don't notice it, I don't think, but when Canadians see other Canadians in TV shows, it's like, oh, this was filmed in Vancouver, or this was filmed in Toronto, or something. X-Files used to do it all the time. It's like, hey, Scully and Mulder, let's go get a Molson. And it's like, what? You're supposed to be from Boston. Anyway, all right. Until next time.
Thank you, PJ. Thanks for hosting another great watch along.
I hope I survive the night.
You shall, I hope, too.
I've had such a bad headache all day.
I'll send you some of those healing vibes that I sent to Tignatara. I'll redirect them to you.
All right, peace.